Hello, third graders. Today I'm going to be reading you guys a story. Actually, it's really more of a nonfiction book about inventions and inventors. So, we're going to be reading a book called Imaginative Inventions, and it is all about how different inventions have been made. And we know an invention is something that's created to solve a problem. It's different from a discovery. A discovery is just something you find or you discover. An invention is something that's actually created. So, for example, Benjamin Franklin, he discovered that lightning has electrical currents, but then he invented or created the lightning rod. So as I'm reading it, I want you to start to think, do you know what invention I'm reading about? And if you do, keep it in your head and we'll see if you're right. Here we go. In Saratoga Springs in 1853, the first chip was invented very accidentally. Now, the cook, whose name was George, had never been to France. He said, "I'd love to travel, but I've never had the chance." One day there was a customer, let's say his name was Rick. He ordered some of George's fries, then said, "These are too thick." Now, Rick had been to France. He said, "French fries should be thinner. I'll just wait until you fix these, then I'll finish up my dinner." France, fancy pants. Chef George was not impressed. He cut Rick's fries up super thin for being such a pest. "Well," Rick said, "my friend George, I like these more than fries. They're crispy and they're crunchy. You deserve a cooking prize." So if you're thinking that these are potato chips, you would be correct. Let's try another invention. In Greece, there was a baker 1600 years ago who said, "I'll make a stew and then cover it with dough." It's said the world's first pie was probably made of meat, and it wasn't until later that a pie became a sweet. Today we have so many kinds, like pumpkin, lime, or cherry. Your favorite flavor, is it peach or rhubarb with strawberry? There you go. And a few more. In the Middle Ages, pots were made from pig. It wasn't orange clay that wasn't hard to dig. When someone had some money to save or hide away, they kept it in their pig jar for a future rainy day. Some potter probably said after giving it some thought, "What if I take my fine pig clay and make a pig-shaped pot?" Well, soon the other potters who formed and shaped the clay were making jars in piggy shapes just like they do today. So if you have a piggy bank, that's what it was talking about. Here we go. Some of you might have one of these. Silvano couldn't see that well, although he wasn't blind. He had a lot of trouble finding things not hard to find. He lost his pants, his socks, his shirts. He even lost his dog. He said, "I've got to fix my eyes and clear away this fog." One day in the year 1280, while drinking from a glass, he was looking through the bottle when he said, "I see at last." So he made 2 discs of finest glass. He made them thick and round. He held them right up to his eyes, and this is what he found. "My pants, my socks, my shirts," he cried. His heart was filled with glee. And there, right by his favorite chair, his dog scratching a flea. He made a fine contraption. It was a brilliant scheme. He used the top of his nose as a glass's balance beam. That's kind of fun, isn't it? The next one is one of Mrs. Gillen's favorite inventions. This was invented 500 years ago. The first ones didn't have a hole and were just balls of dough. The Pilgrims loved the donut, and they brought the recipe from Holland to America in boats across the sea. There was a captain of a boat who said, "I don't know why. These can't be bigger. I'll just ask my mom to try." He poked holes in the middle so they'd cook more evenly. Then his mom cooked up these, which they both ate happily. And these would be donuts. There was a short French king in the 16th century who said, "I must be taller. It's just what I want to be." Now, his subjects, they were loyal, so they said, "What should we do?" Said a timid little cobbler, "I could build a higher shoe." The king said, "These are great," and he marched around the court. He was taller than before and no longer feeling short. But it all happened all too fast for poor Louis, the short king. By wearing high-heeled shoes, he'd begun a fashion thing. Now, with everyone in heels, he no longer seemed that tall, so he had some new shoes made that would tower over all. It was then that he got angry, and he made a big decree, saying, "No more high heels on a man unless that man is me." So yes, high heels were created by a man in France. Joseph lived in Belgium in 1759. He loved to play his violin and practiced all the time. There was to be a party, a fancy fun affair. Joseph said, "I'll make an entrance so my friends will know I'm there." Since the party was on land, he knew ice skates wouldn't do, so he took his favorite footwear and put wheels under each shoe. That night of the big party, with wheel skates upon his feet, Joseph glided in while playing, and the crowd said, "Oh, how sweet!" But he hadn't practiced stopping, so he crashed into a wall, and his violin was broken because he smashed it in the fall. So this time it ended badly, but he didn't shed a tear. He said, "I'll just have to practice and then try again next year." So you probably figured that one out, that it was roller skates. We're going to do 2 more inventions. Cecile was a man who said, "I like things clean, but I don't want to work too hard, so I'll make a machine." He did some strange experiments and tried to suck up dirt from pillows and on furniture until his lips were hurt. And then he tried some blowing, but said, "No, that seems wrong. I think I need a wind machine that sucks up dirt real strong." 1901 was the year that he built his first machine. It took 2 men to operate, but really got things clean. And that might be something you see at your house called a vacuum cleaner. Now, this next one I'm going to read to you, it's one that we're going to be talking about more. And you're going to get to, after you finish this video, watch some YouTube videos of this item. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how it's a good thing and how it's maybe not so good parts. So see if you can guess what it is. In 1957, flying saucers were his passion. Walter dreamed of men from space and what they'd wear as fashion. He made a little disc of tin and threw it in the air, and from far away it looked as if a UFO was there. He thought he was the first to think of such a game, but others had invented it and given it a name. Students at a school called Yale would eat a Frisbee pie, then they'd throw the empty tin high across the campus sky. Walter heard of the Frisbee tins and said, "That name is great." So he called his toy a Frisbee, then ate pie to celebrate. And that is, of course, the Frisbee. So as you finish this video, I want you to go to part 2. And part 2 is going to be some YouTube videos of an old Frisbee, the ones that the kids at Yale back in 1957 invented. And you're going to see some videos of more modern, current Frisbees. Have a great afternoon.